Arts Center for AAFC's production of Murder on the Nile, an Agatha Christie murder mystery. And welcome to our 2015 season. This show has been directed by Ernest Watson. Please turn off all cell phones and pagers. Please note the location of the emergency exits located at the front of the theater on both floors and in the rear of the main floor on the right as you came in. In compliance with federal and international copyright laws, flash photography, video, and audio recording of this performance is prohibited. Thank you for your cooperation. The Geyers Ladies Auxiliary will be serving light refreshments in the apartment upstairs during intermission. All we ask is a small donation. Our next production will be G-Pack's Into the Woods, directed by Ernest Watson, and Into the Woods Junior, directed by Kat Post for our education department. Now please, sit back, relax, and enjoy Murder on the Nile.
Ladies, good afternoon. Welcome to Lotus.
See, ladies, see. Lotus, real Lotus. Very good, very cheap.
Miss Folliot Foles and Miss Grant.
Oh, yes, I have very nice cabins for you. Very pleasant. 15 and 16. Get all afternoon sun.
Take us there, please.
Oh, yes, follow me, please.
Oh, Christina, you've not dropped my coat.
I have it, we're good.
Oh, just don't let him carry it, please.
This way, please.
Yes.
Look, lady, lapis. Real lapis.
No, I want nothing.
It's absurd to say those were the best cabins on the boat. I don't believe it. You haven't left my little dressing case behind.
No, Aunt Helen, I have it right here.
Well, this must be the room where the passengers sit most of the time. Reserved, I presume, for the use of first-class passengers?
All one class on this boat.
Oh, but there's another lounge at the back of the boat.
Stern.
But this is where one would get the best view. Oh, a passenger list. It pays to know who one's fellow travelers are. On a boat of this size, you can't get away from people, and one can never be too safe.
Or one may be contaminated. Don't mind me. I have a habit of butting in.
Now, let us see. Canon Ambrose Pennefather. That sounds quite nice. Of the Yorkshire Pennefathers, I suppose, but you're never sure in the church nowadays. Dr. Bessner, foreign. Mr. William Smith.
Negligible.
Miss Folliot Foles. Oh, my dear, they have spelt it with a big F. Miss Christina Grant, and Mr. and Mrs. Simon Marston and maid. Why, I do believe that is Kay Ridgway.
Oh, Aunt Helen, do you really think it could be her?
On her honeymoon, I
started a fortnight ago, and the tabler at the hotel.
Well, that is very interesting. They say that she threw over Lord Edgbaston to marry this young Mostyn. Of the Devonshire Mostyns, poor as a rat. Stuart! Stuart, come here. Come here, Stuart. Stuart, I do not like my cabin.
Very nice cabin, very clean. Gets all afternoon sun.
Why, that is what I will complain of. It will be too hot.
No, no. Get a nice breeze when boat go. Very pleasant.
I want a cabin on this side of the boat.
All right, I show you. Follow me, please.
But no, stay, Christina. I don't want my things left. Is the water on this boat, is it fresh or is it boiled?
Pity they spelled your aunt's name with a too large F.
Oh, well, it's happening all the time. It's really not quite sensible when you come to think of it to spell a name with two small F's.
One of those incomprehensible English whimsies. So are you going to Wadi Halfa and back, or on to Khartoum for the trip?
Oh, no, just the trip. Oh, it's all so picturesque. Oh, and I just love the donkeys and the beads and just everything. Oh, and yesterday, I bought this off of the gentleman. He told me that it is a real sacred scarab. Is it?
Funny thing is, you couldn't buy one of these in Birmingham if you tried.
Oh, dear, is that where it's from?
I've always thought that's where they're made. Or is it Sheffield?
Dear, and I paid 5 piastres for it.
It's a lovely specimen, though. So, Navi, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it sounds perhaps as someone else is coming on board. Oh, I wonder if it's her.
You're expecting a friend?
Oh, I met Mrs. Marston. Oh, surely you've heard of her. Kay Ridgway. She's here on her honeymoon. Her father, is the biggest financier in England. They say she's the richest girl in all of England.
That must be very bad for her.
But not only is she rich, she's absolutely lovely. And she's just made a romantic marriage. To think of being rich and lovely and on your honeymoon, and oh my, it's just all too much to think of.
I don't want to think of it. It makes me sick.
Oh, well, her pictures have been in all the papers.
And why should there be? Who wants to look at pictures of an idle, useless girl who's never done a hand's turn? Why not pictures of honest factory girls on the way to their day's labors?
Well, who would want to look at pictures of them? I surely wouldn't.
Have you no respect for the dignity of labor?
Oh, but I'm a working girl myself. I'm a typist, and I know I surely wouldn't want to spend good money to look at photos of typists or factory girls.
Do you despise the workers of the world?
Oh, no. But how about you? Do you work an awful lot yourself?
I'm examining conditions. I intend to work extremely hard.
Well, perhaps when you do, you'll understand that there's such a thing as romance. And just to think when a lovely, wealthy girl like Kay Ridgway, who could have married anyone at all, marries a penniless man who's, so divinely handsome, and they're here on their honeymoon on the very same ship. Well, it's just too thrilling for words.
Oh, I understand now. You have what used to be known as the novelette mind.
Oh, well, there's no need to be rude.
I do not like them. Those beads you have there are very bad imitation. Very bad indeed. Very troublesome they are, these people. Just like the flies. All the time they were saying, bakshish, bakshish. Up to the business.
William Smith, Miss...
Grant.
It is the first time you make upon the Nile, the so agreeable voyage.
Oh, yes, this is my first time in Egypt.
Well, there is in Egypt much of interest to be seen. The civilization of Egypt was fine, very fine, and owing to action of sand and dry climate, much has been preserved to us. We will make stops and go on the shore and interesting temples visit. My Baedeker, if you like, I lend you.
There's a thrilling offer for you.
Well, think it's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
A pleasure it will be.
Ah, luscious female with the glad eye. I'm glad at least someone appreciates me.
I've got a much better cabin now. I know what that man was to do for me. Now, yours next door is rather small, but it will do quite nicely.
Present me, please.
Oh, certainly. Mr. Bessa, this is my aunt.
Dr. Besner.
I am not at all satisfied with what that man says about the water. I don't believe they do boil it. He had a very shifty look in his eye. Now, I've ordered some Avon, but I suspect they just filled that from the taps. You'll have to boil some on the spirit lamps, Christina.
Oh, yes, Aunt Helen.
You may unpack for me presently.
Oh, I'll go and start right away.
Certainly not. We must keep the cases locked until the boat starts. There are some suspicious characters hanging about. And don't take out too much until we know whether or not the stewards are honest. They are much darker than the ones from Cairo.
You have here the peoples of Nubia. They are not, you see, of the same race. Nubian peoples, they are very wonderful to each other.
Hand me my life of Madame or come here, Christina. Now, where are my spectacles? Oh, here they are in my bag.
Well, here we are.
Oh, what a frightful din. Get rid of those creatures, Simon.
Go away, won't you? Get out of here. Mr. and Mrs. Marston, welcome to Lotus. Would you like to see a room cabin?
Has my maid got here?
Maid? Yes, about a half hour ago. She came with your luggage.
Ah, there you are, Louise.
Everything is ready for you, madame.
Any trouble getting away?
Oh, no, monsieur. Everything was quite satisfactory. Monsieur need not be uneasy.
Good.
I did everything, monsieur, just as monsieur told me.
Well, then that's all right. Shall we look at the cabins?
Yes, we'd better see they're all right.
Not this way, please. Follow me, please.
Thank you.
Quite like royalty.
Oh, isn't she lovely?
Pity they forgot the red carpet.
Yeah.
Welcome to Lotus.
I fill my card and like to see.
You'd like to
Number
see our
19.
cabin?
Dr. Besner.
Follow me, please. This way, please.
Right.
Christina, I know that you have not had a lot of advantages in your upbringing, but one thing you must learn when traveling is not to rush into conversation with every person that you meet. Foreigners in especial are trying. They are slower than the English person to see when they are not wanted.
Oh, dear. I hope those awful bead sellers don't come back on the ship.
They ought not to be allowed on the boat.
Sounds like they may have another victim. So let's see what type of fellow passenger we have. Oh, God, it's a parson.
A very ill-bred young man. Very ill-bred.
Where's Big Tanner? No, honey, no.
Quite warm, is it not?
Indeed, yes. A particularly airless afternoon.
Since we are fellow travelers, I must introduce myself. I am Miss Folliot Falls, and this is my niece, Christina Grant.
Oh, yes, indeed. These small boats are friendly affairs. I am Canon Pennyfather.
Of the Yorkshire Pennefathers?
The Shropshire branch. Ah, we shall have a most beautiful view as we go up the Nile. Oh, these observation saloons are wonderful items.
I really do wish it hadn't had a roof, though.
Oh, it'd be much too hot, my dear young lady, with the sun beating down on your head. Oh, no, 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 no.
Canon Pennyfather?
Yes?
Welcome to Lotus. You like to see your cabin? This way, please. Follow me, please.
It gets all the afternoon sun.
Oh.
Christina, I think I will go back to my cabin. Please bring my book and my little bag.
Au revoir, Miss Grant. We shall meet again later.
Oh, please. I hope you didn't think that man was meaning to be rude when you came in here. I'm sure that you heard him. It's just, well, it's just a way that he has about him. He doesn't mean anything by it.
Oh, some people dislike a clergyman traveling on a boat. They feel it brings bad luck. That won't apply on our paddle steamer.
I better go.
Yes.
Satisfied, my darling?
Yes, I'm going to enjoy this.
So am I. My lovely wife.
Did you ask if there are any more passengers to come on board?
Yes, everyone's arrived.
Good, then the boat could start. Go and arrange with the captain or whoever it is to start at once.
But it's not due to leave for half an hour.
Nonsense, tell them to start now.
I'm not sure they can start off schedule.
Not at all, it will just be a question of a tip. It always is.
I'm not sure I like that.
Oh, darling, you don't know the world as well as I do. It's usually just a question of how much.
It's quite all right, Kay. Louise says so.
Louise doesn't always know as much as she thinks she does.
Sometimes I think you ought to get rid of that girl, Kay. She has a nasty way of looking at you sometimes.
She probably hates me, though I don't know why she should. I give her heaps of things. She is simply marvelous with hair and nails and all that, so I couldn't possibly part with her.
I'd be a lady's maid, Kay.
I wonder what I'd look like with your great clumsy fingers in my hair.
Nothing could prevent you looking the loveliest thing on God's earth. Enjoying your honeymoon?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, I'm going. Oh, why, Uncle Ambrose?
Oh, Kay, my dear child, oh, what an extraordinary surprise. Oh, my God.
I thought you were in Palestine.
Oh, I was last week.
I wrote to you, to the King David Hotel in Jerusalem. Didn't you get my letter?
Oh, I changed my plans.
Oh, well, then you don't know
Know what?
that I'm married.
Married?
Yes, to Simon Mostyn. Simon, this is my guardian, father's dearest friend, my Uncle Ambrose by courtesy.
I've heard a lot about you, sir.
We've not met, but I have seen you before.
Have you? Well, then, you haven't heard about our marriage.
Oh, it must have been very sudden. I mean, Kay.
Well, we certainly didn't waste any time. I do hope, darling, that you're not terribly hurt that we didn't wait for you to come back and marry us. But I am over 21, so I hadn't to ask your legal consent. And I did write you a very nice letter telling you all about Simon and everything, which it seems was just wasted paper because you never got it.
Oh, I shall get it one day, I expect.
I thought it would be sure to reach you at the hotel in Jerusalem. Well, what a coincidence that you should actually be here on this boat.
Oh, indeed, Kay. You know that I believe there is no such thing as chance.
Well, anyhow, it's lovely that you're here. And now you and Simon can have a drink together and make friends. I'm going to change. See you later, darling.
Well, what will you drink, sir? I gather from what Kay says that you're no teetotaler.
Oh, no, no, no. I am of the worldly order of clergy that enjoy the pleasures of life. Take a little wine for thy stomach's sake has always struck me as sound advice.
Stomach's sake, that's good.
I hope you don't mind my having married Kay, sir. That is, I hope you'll think I'm good enough for her. Not that I ever could be that. She's such an amazing creature.
As I said, I've seen you once, Mr. Mostyn.
Make it Simon, will you, sir? And I'm afraid I don't quite remember what...
I don't think you would remember, under the circumstances.
You'd ring, sir? What will you have, sir?
I believe a gin fizz.
2 gin fizzes. Anyway, you were saying?
As I was saying, I saw you once at a small restaurant in London, the Chateau Espagnier. You were seated at the next table to me. I could not help but hear your conversation.
Yes?
You were seated with a rather striking young girl, fair-haired girl. You were talking of a time to come when you would go for your honeymoon in Egypt.
I see. So, you feel that that needs some explanation?
And frankly, yes, it was not so long ago.
You probably think I married Kay for my money, don't you? Well, you're wrong. I'd have chased Kay to the world's end if she hadn't had a penny piece. Actually, I'm rather glad you did see us at the Chateau in Espagne, sir. It makes it easier to tell this whole thing. God knows I want to tell it to someone.
Yes?
The girl you saw was Jacqueline de Severac, my fiancée, and Kay's best friend.
I see.
You mustn't misunderstand me, sir. I hadn't yet met Kay. Of course, Jackie talked about her. They'd gone to school together at some snug place in Paris. But then Jackie's family lost all their money, and they didn't see each other anymore. Kay still wrote to her, and she's still very fond of her. Why, she'd give Jackie all manner of things, but Jackie's too proud to take them. Anyway, there we were, both poor as church mice, and me out of a job as well. Things were starting to look rather blue until Jackie heard that Kay's agent, manager of her Yorkshire property, had died. I thought this seemed a marvelous opportunity for me. I'm good at that sort of thing. Country bred, you know. So Jackie rushed up to Kay, and Kay, being the sport that she is, said of course she'd give Jackie's fiancé the job. So I took it. Cheerio.
And then?
That's what I've got to make you understand, sir. When I saw Kay, it was all over. It was like Jackie didn't exist anymore. You can call me any sort of swine you like, but that's how it was. I had loved Jackie in a kind of way, but when I saw Kay, it was like the moon when the sun comes out. You just don't see the moon anymore.
Not a bad simile.
That's how it was. Kay was the sun. I tried to fight it, but it was no good. And when I found out that she felt the same way about me...
And Mr. Severac?
I'm afraid Jackie took it hard. Very hard. Of course, I had treated her rather badly.
Yes, you and Kay.
No, Kay had nothing to do with it. She was not involved at all. I was just feeling, well, restless, and then Kay came along and swept me off my feet. I've never met anyone so lovely. It was all so amazing. Everyone kowtowing to her, and then her singling out a poor fish like me.
I see.
Anyway, we decided not to hold off, get married right away, and we figured that also might help Jackie get over it more quickly.
Convenient belief, but did she?
Well, she made certain threats, of course.
Threats?
Well, no, she's half French. Latin blood, you know. She talked all sorts of melodramatic nonsense about shooting us both. I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised that she took a pot shot at me, but I would have never believed that she'd act this way.
In what way?
I'm afraid I'm telling this all rather badly, sir. Kay and I took off on our honeymoon. Went to Venice. The first thing we saw when we got off at Daniele's was Jackie sitting in the lounge. I was afraid of a scene, but Jackie just expressed surprise at the coincidence. So naturally, that's what I believed as well. Just coincidence. And a bit of bad luck. So Kay and I decided to crack on. We caught the early boat from Trieste. But dashed if when we got on board, Jackie wasn't there as well. It was damned awkward, sir. You know it was.
Yes, I can imagine that.
Anyway, to get to the point, when we got to Egypt, we went to the Mena house near Cairo. Jackie had said she was going to Luxor, but when we got on board, when we went to dinner that night, Jackie was there.
Unusual. No, and very ingenious.
I have to admit, I absolutely saw red. Afterwards, I went up to her and tackled her, accused her of following us round. But she just smiled sweetly, cool as a cucumber, and said how odd it was that we should always choose the same places. I told her it had got to stop.
And what did she to say to that?
She said, well, surely there's no law against me choosing the same hotels as you and Kay. And of course, she had me there. Kay seems to think that we should take some steps of some kind, but frankly, I don't see what sort of steps there are to take.
Now, you said a moment ago that you and Jacqueline were poor as church mice. Now then, how does she manage to meet the expenses of travel? They must be heavy.
You know, that's really quite clever. I hadn't thought of it myself. Jackie's poor as they make them. She's bound to run out sooner or later. She's only got about $200 a year.
Well, then I presume that soon she will run out of her resources and be penniless. You don't like to think of that.
Well, I can't help it. It's not my fault. She's the one insisting on this crack-brained scheme. Can't she see what an ass she's making of herself? Hasn't she got any pride? Any dignity?
Oh, pride and dignity, my dear young man, are qualities that we are always apt to urge on others.
I just don't see what she thinks she'll get out of following us around, making an exhibition of herself.
Oh, she has already managed to annoy and vex you and Kay, hasn't she?
She's got Kay absolutely on the raw. That's why...
Yes?
Kay, well, she followed us to Luxor. When we got to Aswan, she was there as well. Kay just can't take it anymore, so we hitched up a plan. Made out as if we were going by steamer to Cairo again tomorrow. Meantime, today, we took a day expedition down to Philae. Meanwhile, Louise, Kay's maid, sneaked quietly away from the hotel, packed up our luggage, and drove it to this boat for us. By the time Jackie finds out where we've really gone, this boat will have sailed. We've bribed the porter to tell Jackie that we took a train north to Cairo.
Very elaborate.
So you see, even if Jackie wants to follow us, she won't be able to until the next boat comes in. Kay suggests that we fly from Khartoum down to East Africa, possibly even the Cape.
You approve of the scheme?
Well, actually, no, I don't. I see it as nothing more or less than running away. That sticks in my gizzard. I like to see things through, you know. And this seems like nothing more than running away from a girl, but Kay...
Kay?
Kay's nerves are all shot to pieces. She simply must get away. I'm glad we found you here, sir. Glad I could tell you this whole tale. I'm sure you'll never think I'm good enough for Kay now, but I do love her, and I'll always do every mortal thing she wants.
No. You mustn't do that, my young man. Kay has gotten her way far too often. You must stand up to her.
Well, here I am. Got a drink for me? Have you managed to persuade Uncle Ambrose that you're the right husband for me?
He says that I ought to beat you.
How discerning of you. Oh dear, what fun this is going to be.
The sunsets here are wonderful.
There's hardly anybody on board. Later in the season, of course, we shall practically have the boat to ourselves. We can do just what we like.
That will be no novelty to you, Kay.
What will you drink?
A sherry.
Sherry and 2 gin fizzes.
No, really, sir.
Oh, yes, you must, sir.
Perhaps just this once.
Sherry and 2 gin fizzes.
Oh, by the way, Kay, I'd like £1,000.
£1,000?
Conscience money.
Don't look so surprised, darling. Uncle Ambrose always does this sort of thing. He's a kind of moral gangster.
I don't understand.
See, Kay has far too much money for her own good. A great many people do not have enough money for their good. I try to readjust the balance. Blank check form. I do not ask for alms, I demand them. I find it much more successful. And your rich man or woman writes out a check and then goes to lunch at the Berkeley with that warm inner feeling that aids digestion. Don't forget to put the address of the branch. They feel that they have purchased a front stall in heaven.
You really are the most cynical clergyman I know. You don't even say thank you.
Oh, why should I? I'm merely helping you to make a wonderful investment.
In 1 or 2 minutes, we start now. Scenery very fine.
Here's to our trip.
No, please, Kay, sign now, please.
£1,000 is a lot of money.
Oh, it won't do much good, but it will do something.
Uncle Ambrose has some wonderful scheme for rebuilding a New England, self-supporting communities and industries, a kind of Christianized Soviet, it seems to me.
You don't understand it because you're not interested. But you have got your place in the scheme, the lowest place, supplying funds.
I don't see how you ever get any money at all when you're so rude.
Oh, that just shows what a poor idea you have of psychology. £500?
50% of what you've asked for is pretty good going.
Oh, well, all's grist to the mill. To Jerusalem.
Jerusalem?
For I will build Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land.
Oh dear.
Don't look so surprised, darling. It's only Uncle Ambrose on his hobby horse. Again.
Oh, hello, Carrie. How surprising. I thought you and Simon were going down river to Cairo. Never expected to find you here.
Why, you didn't.
See here, Jackie.
Yes, Simon. Oh, how hot you look. It is hot, isn't it?
Yes. It's very hot here. It's the glass, I think.
Still playing these games, are you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought the trip up to the second cataract sounded so interesting.
Oh, cut it out, Jackie.
But surely, Simon, you and Kay were going down to Cairo tomorrow. Everybody in the hotel was saying so.
Sometimes one alters one's plans.
Yes, I altered mine.
You really must stop this. You know, it's so utterly unreasonable.
What are you talking about, Simon? This seems a nice boat. I shall enjoy this trip to Wadi Halfa, especially now that I found friends on board. I must find out where my cabin is.
Mr. Severak, welcome to Lotus. You come this way, please.
There's still time, Simon. We could get off.
No, we must stay. We've got to go through with it. Wish I could make you understand that running away only plays into her hands. Got to see it through, otherwise she sees that she's got to us and that just spurs her on.
Yes, that's true. Go along, darling. Go to the cabin or to the deck lounge or on the other end of the boat. I want to talk to Uncle Ambrose.
I've already spoken to him. He knows everything.
Good, then that will save time. Go along, darling. Uncle Ambrose, you've got to help me.
In what way?
Simon's told you all about this incredible persecution. Jackie is making herself utterly ridiculous, but all the same, it's got to be stopped. You've got to stop it.
Indeed. And how do you suppose I should go about doing this?
Talk to her. Show her what a fool she's making of herself. Threaten her. Tell her we shall take proceeding.
Oh, she has every right to be on this boat, Kay.
Well, appeal to her. Appeal to her pride and her self-respect. Show her how ridiculous it is for her to go on running after a man who doesn't want her.
And what reason do you have to believe that she would listen to me?
People do listen to you. You've got something about you that makes them listen.
I am to appeal, am I, to her better interest?
Yes. Get her to give up this silly persecution.
Okay. Why do you mind so much?
Well, wouldn't anybody? It's maddening. I simply can't stand it.
Oh, but you must stand it, can't you?
What do you mean?
That there's no way out. You must bear this thing well, or you can bear it badly, but you cannot refuse to bear something that exists that you cannot alter.
When we get to Wadi Haifa, I'll charter an airplane and we'll fly right off into the wild.
Oh, fugitives! Okay, come, sit down. Now, tell me, what are you running away from?
But you know.
Oh, yes, I know. Waiting for you to face facts.
I haven't the least idea what you mean.
No? Then I'll ask my question again. Why do you mind so much?
Because it's intolerable.
Oh, quite. That's one way of looking at it. There are others. You could feel just annoyed. Or you could feel pity for a friend you have loved who has been so deeply hurt as to cast all conventions aside. Instead, this thing has got right under your skin. It's yourself you're running away from, Kay. You've always had a good life. You've had no reason to feel ill of yourself. Naturally, you don't like to feel guilty.
What do you mean by guilty?
And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he went unto him and said to him, in this town there were two men, one rich and one poor. The rich man had great number of flocks and herds. The poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb. And the rich man took that one ewe lamb.
It wasn't like that at all.
And David said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that has done this is worthy to die, because he did it, and he showed no pity. And Nathan said to David, you are that man.
It wasn't like that, I tell you. Simon and Jackie weren't the least bit suited to each other. He realized that as soon as he met me. What on earth do you think he ought to have done? Gone on with it? Made 3 lives miserable? Simon couldn't have made Jackie happy if he wasn't happy himself.
Oh, that can always be assumed. A convenient assumption.
Surely it's better to rectify a mistake before it's too late. The only common sense thing for Simon to do was for him to tell Jackie the truth. If she was so fond of him, you'd think she'd want to put his happiness first.
Kay, how very young you are.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Oh, nothing. You were always very fond of Jackie, weren't you?
Yes, but she was my greatest friend at school. I was devoted to her always.
And she to you.
Yes.
And she came to you and asked you for your help. To give the man she loved a job so they could marry.
Yes.
Hey, you've always had everything you've wanted. There's been no reason why you shouldn't have it. But this time, there was a reason.
What are you trying to say? You're blaming me for everything.
Oh, I'm just saying there was a moment right at the beginning when you could have stopped. You saw Simon Mostyn and you were attracted to him. He was dazzled by you. But you could have held your hand, Kay. You could have said, this is Jackie's man, and I am Jackie's friend. You had everything, but your friend's life is wrapped up in one person. But Kay had to have what she wanted. And like King David, you stretched out your hand and took that one ewe lamb.
You're dreadfully unfair.
Oh, Simon Mostyn is a weak man. Anyone can see that. I think the initiative came from you.
Well, what does all that matter now? One can't go back. The past is the past.
Indeed, the past conditions the future.
So what am I going to do about all this?
I don't see there's anything you can do.
So, you won't help me?
I don't know as much as I want to help you, but there is someone else I would like to try to help.
I don't understand your attitude.
Kate, one question. Just out of curiosity. Why, since you are running away, why did you not rent a private dahabeah? Kate, Jackie could not have followed you on that.
Of course I thought of that. I'm not a perfect idiot. But it's Simon. You've no idea the trouble I've had. He makes the most extraordinarily heavy weather just because I'm the one who has the money.
Well, I mean, it does matter from a man's point of view.
Oh, but you see, Simon has been so incredibly difficult, and he hates the idea of what he calls living on me. So the only thing that would appease him at all was that at any rate the honeymoon should be what he calls his show. So I gave in, and he hasn't let me spend a penny. He'd got shares of something that he'd sold, and the poor sweet was so happy about it that I haven't had the heart to protest. But a private dahabeah would have been quite out of the question for him to pay for, and I simply didn't dare suggest that I should pay for it.
Yeah, I'm thinking better of this Simon of yours for making that stand.
Well, I think it's very stupid, as if money mattered.
Oh, it doesn't matter to you, Kate, because you've always had plenty of it.
Why are you so against me? I think you're most unkind.
Bit of a change from the King David Hotel, eh?
Possibly.
I expect you did yourself pretty well there amongst the flesh pots.
I?
I noticed you there, sitting by one of those pillar things, opening a great wad of mail.
Well, you seem to be a very observant young man.
I usually notice a face. I don't think you understand what I'm getting at.
Oh, yes, indeed. You make your meaning quite plain.
You parsons, you're all alike, so I have no use for you.
You young men are all alike, but we have got a use for you.
Well, I'll say you've got a nerve. It's too hot in here.
We shall be leaving in a few minutes. Up ahead is what the old Egyptians called the hidden horizon.
Hidden horizon.
There is something I would like to say to you, Mr. Severak.
I'm sure that there is. Well, let's get on with it. I know who you are, of course. Kay's often spoke of you. You're said to have the gift of eloquence. Go on. I'm waiting. Will I be a good girl and leave dear persecuted Kay alone? That's it, isn't it?
I would have put it differently.
I'm sure you would. Wouldn't be as crude as that.
So, you think you know what I'm going to say?
I'm sure of it.
Well, what I have to say to you is this. Bury your dead.
What?
Bury your dead. Give up the past. Look to the future. What is done cannot be undone, and bitterness will not undo it. You are young. Time will heal you.
You're quite wrong. I'm not suffering. I'm enjoying myself. Did you see their faces when I walked in this evening? Yes, I'm enjoying myself.
That is the worst part of it.
You're rather harsh, aren't you, about my little amusements? But then, of course, they upset dear Kay, so I must give them up.
What you are doing will do Kay no harm. She'll just have to put up with it. But the harm you are doing is to yourself.
To my soul?
You're afraid of the word? I'm not. There's still time. Get off this boat. Make a new life for yourself.
You don't understand. Simon is my life. We loved each other.
I know how much you cared for him.
It's true. We loved each other. And Kay was my best friend. I trusted her. All my life, I've never been jealous of all she had and I hadn't. Kay's always been able to buy whatever she wanted. She's never denied herself anything. When she saw Simon, she wanted him, and she just took him.
And he allowed himself to be bought?
No, that's not true. Simon didn't marry Kay for her money, but there's such a thing as the glamour money gives. Kay has an atmosphere. Do you wonder it all went to his head? Look out there. Soon the moon will be out, quite plain to see. But when the sun comes out, you can't see the moon. I was the moon. When the sun came out, Simon couldn't see me anymore. He was dazzled. He could see only the sun. Kay.
So that is how you see it.
Glamour. She went to his head. There's a complete assurance to her habit of command. Kay's so sure of herself, she makes other people sure. Simon was weak, perhaps, but he's a rather simple person. Kay would have loved me. Simon would have loved me. And me only if Kay hadn't come along.
Oh, you would like to think so.
It's true. Oh. Simon loved me. You always loved me.
Does he love you now?
One up to you on that. You don't hit softly, do you?
I am afraid for you.
Afraid?
What you are doing is dangerous.
Not as dangerous as what I once thought of doing. Do you know what I felt when it first happened?
J.S.
Nice little thing. Looks like a toy, but a bullet from it could kill a man or a woman. And I'm a good shot. I meant to kill one or either of them. Not both. That would have been satisfactory. If I had thought Kay would look afraid. But she wouldn't. Kay's got plenty of physical courage. Then I thought I'd wait. After all, I could do it at any time. It'd be more fun to wait and think about it. And then this idea came to mind. To follow them. Whenever they should be together and happy, they should see me. And it worked. It got Kay badly in a way nothing else could have done. That was when I began to enjoy myself. And there's nothing she can do about it. I'm always perfectly pleasant and polite. And it's poisoning everything. Everything for them.
Be quiet! Quiet, I tell you, be quiet!
Why should I?
Because that is how the devils in hell laugh.
I'm in hell, all right.
Jacqueline, listen to me. Do not open your heart to evil, because if you do, evil will come.
Isn't evil rather a strong word?
It is the only word.
You can't stop me.
No, I cannot stop you.
Even if I were to kill her, you couldn't stop me.
No.
Is it so wrong to want to kill the only person who has taken everything you have in the world? Is it? Is it?
Yes!
Well, you should approve of my present scheme of revenge, because as long as this works, I shan't use this pistol. But I'm afraid sometimes.
What are you afraid of?
Sometimes. Everything goes red. I want to hurt her. I want to stick a knife in her. I want to press this dear little pistol close against her head and pull that trigger so it...
We're casting off. For the last time, I beg of you, not for Kay's peace of mind, but for your own lasting peace and eternal happiness, get off this boat. Do not take this journey.
I almost wish I could.
Oh, you can. There is always a moment when you can turn back before it is too late. This is your moment.
We start now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
What was that he said?
What every Mohammedan says before starting on a journey. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. Can you say that on the start of your journey?
I wish you hadn't been on board.
I can't stand any more of it.
Okay, we simply must go through with it.
Yes, we've got to go through with it.
The rest are mine, game, and rubber.
Do you mean to say we had all the hearts between us? Why didn't you need them?
I had ace, queen, and another.
And I had 5 to the king and not another card in my hand. Uncle Ambrose, you wicked old man. As soon as you got in with the ace of diamonds, you actually led the knave of hearts. How many had you?
Knave Singleton. I had to lead you away from the heart suit. If you had led one, I would have been heavily down.
Hellcroft to your game, sir.
He's got a regular poker face.
Dear Canon Pinafore, I think we can congratulate ourselves on our tactics. I do believe that makes us 900 points.
700, I believe.
And despite your poker face, an honorable opponent as well. I'm awfully slack. I never add up. Just trust the other players.
You're dreadfully lazy, Simon. I usually keep the score, but I'm so terribly sleepy tonight. Oh, poor dear, I must go to bed. Simon, pay for me.
It's the sightseeing that's made you sleepy.
A blue symbol is wonderful, though. I wouldn't have missed it for anything. I do really feel, though, we should have gone out tonight with the others and seen it by artificial light. The dragon said one could see far more details of the wall painting.
Sometimes, my dear Mrs. Austin, the details are, well, not quite nice. And I find that dragomen are insistent on certain aspects of the Egyptian mythology and customs.
Oh, indeed. I have always found the dragoman to be the very soul of delicacy. Unfortunately so.
That, dear Canon, shows the purity of your own mind. Where is my purple scarf? Christina? Where is Christina? Oh, of course, she has gone ashore. How inconsiderate. How would she know what I would want or not want during the evening? Always thinking of pleasure, these young people. Oh, thank you, dear Canon. Pray, do not trouble. I had it before dinner. I know I was sitting right here. I can't think. Oh, thank you, Mr. Marston. Pray, do not trouble. Velvet, a purple velvet. Where, oh, where can my scarf be? How inconsiderate and how annoying of Christina not to have stayed and looked after it. Dear Canon, don't you find that young people nowadays have no consideration for their elders?
Oh, sometimes. And sometimes their elders have no consideration for them. I think I hear the party returning.
Christina should have stayed quietly on board with me, especially since that dreadful socialistic young man was to be of the party. So terribly common and so pushing.
Well, how was the temple by moonlight?
It was marvelous, quite different. The scenes on the walls of great interest are the march of Egyptian army under Ramesses to Kadesh and North Wall. Leading by the king also with the Harakti of many prisoners, while temple, of course, is dedicated to Ra Harakti and Amen-Ra, god for thieves.
Thank you, Herr Doctor.
While you were out enjoying yourself, Christina, I have been put to the serious inconvenience. Where is my purple scarf?
Oh, well, you had it before dinner, Aunt Helen, in here.
Well, I don't have it now.
Perhaps it's in your cabin.
I'm not aware that scarves have legs.
Well, maybe the stewards took it to your cabin while you went down to dinner. I'll go and look for it.
Don't rush off like that. Take my knitting, and my glasses, and my little shawl. I should not be expected to carry everything myself.
That's what I always say. If you've got a dog's body, keep it on the run.
Would you mind getting off of my knitting?
Sorry.
they can cause certain people to be so clumsy with their...
Oh, bit paraben.
Oh dear. I must go to bed.
No, Kate, a moment. You said you would sign these transfers this evening. I have them right here.
Darling, can't they wait until tomorrow morning?
This morning, you said you would sign them tonight. It won't take a minute. I have to get them off when we get to Wadi Haifa.
You're not going to read every word, are you?
I always read everything before signing it. Father told me to. He said one never knew when a clerical error might have crept in.
Clerical error. That's good.
No, Kay is an excellent woman of business.
Huh. Never read a legal document in my life. Wouldn't know what to do with one if I did. I just sign on the dotted line where I'm told.
No, indeed.
Well, I find one shouldn't go through life thinking everyone's going to do you down. I find it pays to trust people.
Father never trusted anybody. Uncle Ambrose is the only man he believed in. That's why he left him my guardian and trustee of my capital until I was 25 and married. Father said lawyers knew far too much about how to evade the law.
Oh, yes. Nile Ridgway was a very shrewd and able man. Oh, a master at finances, but he had little belief in his fellow man.
Perhaps rightly so.
Now, little did he know, however, of the subterfuges which some members of the clergy would descend to get money for their pet causes.
I suppose I actually have come into my capital now, Uncle Ambrose. I could make a will and leave it all to your better and brighter England scheme.
Oh, you could, but I'm sure you could not be induced to spend your money in such an excellent fashion.
Why not?
Because, my dear, the rewards are not payable in this world.
I wonder what it would feel like to be really poor.
Don't worry. You'll never know.
Do you really all believe that? The patience of the workers won't last forever.
Now don't let's be political.
Perhaps these can wait until the morning.
I really can't take in anything. Good night, Uncle Ambrose. It's been a lovely day. You were right about facing things. I've got over my silly attack of nerves. Good night, Jackie. It really is rather heavenly on this boat, isn't it?
Good night, Jacqueline.
She doesn't care anymore. Neither of them cares. I can't get through to them. They've got beyond me. They don't mind if I'm here or not. I can't hurt them anymore.
Do you still want to hurt them?
They shan't be happy together. They shan't. I'll stop it
You
somehow.
should not have come on this boat.
Yes, you're right. I think you're right, but it's too late now. I can't go back. I've got to go on.
If you're tired, it's a long, hot day. You should go to bed and sleep.
I couldn't sleep.
Oh, yes, you could.
No, it's too hot, too still. It's the kind of evening when things snap. Boy! Bring me a double brandy.
Well, excuse me, please, but is your wife then the daughter of Melwish Ridgway?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Is there any reason why you should know it?
You will excuse me, but you see, that man,
Am I to understand that one of Melwish Ridgway's financial operations at one time affected you personally?
you will forgive me, gentlemen, but I have very strong feelings. In my country, in your a small country, an obscure country, that man, he buys the politicians. He corrupts the government. So who would get the concession? You understand. It's not that they want to develop it. On the contrary, the people, the peasants, they starve. See, it would be a rivalry. But that must not be. Instead, all is desolate and deserted. And we who believed in it, we lose all we had. We are finished, wiped out. My father, an old man and feeble, he dies with the heart broken. But it is not the non-progress. It is not the industry that not developed. Is the you understand?
Frankly, little boy, no. But I get the general idea. International finance, like some obscene spider up to its old tricks. And old man Ridgway sitting in his office in London with a big cigar in the center of the web. No offense, Mauston, but Meloosh Ridgway's methods are pretty well known, and his handsome contributions to charities can't wipe out the taste of them.
I don't know anything about it. Kay's father was dead years before we married. I suppose all these financial birds fly fairly close to the same wind. Me, I've never read a financial document in my life. Don't know anything about finances. Often wish I did.
I see the little man in the back street. He would be sent to prison. But the big man, with his cigar, he can rob and cheat and stay inside the law.
It won't be so forever.
They too should suffer. Yes, suffer. You will excuse me. I am upset.
What have you been saying to upset poor Dr. Vesna?
What, me? I like that. Nothing. And why should you defend him?
He's a foreigner, and what foreigners are sensitive. Besides that, they have their feelings hurt quite easily.
And what are my feelings? Your aunt's been taunting me all evening about my social inferiority.
Well, you must excuse poor Aunt Helen. She's had a very tiring day, and all the dust and sand, they bother her eyes.
Darkness falls from the sky. Dust hath closed Helen's eyes. I wish it would.
Boy! Get me another brandy.
And bring me a pink gin. Christina?
Oh, I wouldn't mind a lemonade.
Too tame. Make it a gin fizz. What about you, Mauston?
No, thanks.
He was a man when he turned
You know, it's really quite a lovely night. Beautiful moonlight.
Yes, a real honeymoon night.
You know, the Drago man was telling me all about an Egyptian goddess. The one that is said to hold up the sky. I believe her name is Mut. I thought that was an odd name for an Egyptian goddess.
Why? She is a mud to hold up the sky. Let it crash. Come, Christina. Sit by me and we'll drink together.
I really think I should be going to bed.
Nonsense, the night is yet young. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, there's really not much to tell.
Well, here's to crime. You can bring me another.
Speaking of crime, I think something should be done about that aunt of yours. Like a little dose of arsenic, for instance.
Oh, you're really quite rude about my aunt.
Well, you can't tell me you like that one.
Oh, but I do. Aunt Helen's been very good to me, bringing me abroad and everything.
Including treating you as a slave? Don't you have any spirit? Don't you know you're as good as she is?
Oh, but I'm not.
By that, you just mean that she is rich and you are poor.
Oh, not at all. Aunt Helen is very educated and highly cultured.
Culture, education mean nothing at all.
You know, I believe perhaps it's your digestion that's off. You know, Aunt Helen once had a special pepsin sent in. Perhaps I should get some of it for you to try. It might make you better mannered and better tempered.
What's wrong with my manners?
They're absolutely atrocious.
Well, in that case, I wish you good night.
Oh, I think I'll be going to bed as well. I'm tired.
No, you can't go to bed. I won't let you go to bed. Come, I want someone to talk to. Sit here and tell me all about yourself.
Well,
Boy,
there's really not much to tell.
have another drink?
Oh, no thank you, no thank you.
I forbid you to go to bed. Tell me about yourself. Tell me all about yourself.
Well, I've lived in Edinburgh all my life. I work at an insurance agency. I've always wanted to travel, so when Aunt Helen suggested this trip, I couldn't believe it. It was like a dream coming true, and I'm loving every minute of it.
You're a happy sort of person, aren't you? God, I'd like to be you.
Well, I'm sure that, well...
What are you saying? Shall I tell you the story of my life? Oh, Simon would rather I didn't. You going to run away, Simon?
It's getting late.
Just the right time of night for telling hard luck stories. And good luck stories like Christina's. Why hasn't your aunt ever taken you abroad before? Why does she let you slave away in an office?
Oh, well, the office is really like a family affair. You see, my Aunt Helen's sister married, well, as Aunt Helen would put it beneath her, that was my grandmother. So Aunt Helen is actually my great aunt. And then my father, well, he was a rather proud man. He kept up the quarrel until recently.
Quite romantic. Isn't it, Simon? I like you, Christina. I like you very much. Don't go and leave me, will you? I'm feeling very low tonight. I want someone to talk to. You won't leave me, will you?
I'm thinking that maybe we all could use some sleep.
Boy! Boy! Get the steward, will you, Simon? I'm going to want another drink.
It's past midnight. The stewards have gone to bed.
I tell you, I want another drink.
You've had quite enough drinks, Jackie.
What damned business is it of yours?
None.
What's the matter, Simon? Are you afraid?
I really must.
No, you mustn't. Do you know what Simon over there is afraid of? He's afraid I'm going to tell you the story of my life.
Oh, indeed.
It's a rather sad story.
Go to bed,
We were
Jackie.
engaged, you see. He was a man, and he'd done her wrong. He treated me rather badly, didn't you, Simon?
Go to bed, Jackie. You're drunk.
If you're embarrassed, you'd better leave the room.
I'm staying.
I really must be...
I forbid you to go. You're to stay and hear what I've got to say.
Jackie, for God's sake, go to bed.
You're afraid of a scene, aren't you? That's because you're so English, so reticent. You want to behave decently, don't you? Decently. Like a prep schoolboy. That's all you are. A great, overgrown schoolboy. You'd better leave the room quickly because I'm going to talk a lot. You damned fool! Do you think you could treat me as you have done and get away with it? Answer me. Can't you answer me? I told you I'd kill you before I'd let you go to another woman. You don't think I meant that? You're wrong. I've only been waiting. Just waiting. You're my man, do you hear? You belong to me. I told you I'd kill you, and I meant it. Answer me. Damn you, answer me.
Jackie, stop making a damn fool of yourself and go to bed.
I'm making a fool of myself, am I?
Yes?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I'll shoot you. Shoot you like a dog. Like the dirty dog you are! Oh! Oh, Simon! Oh, Simon, I didn't mean!
What's happening?
Nothing, just a bit of fun. You understand? Just a joke, a very funny joke. Go away. Go away and don't come back. You understand? Not come back.
What did happen?
I shot him! Oh, God, I shot him!
Oh, hush, dear, hush.
Oh, for For God's sake, get her out of here. We can't have a scene. Get her out of the cabin. For God's sake, get her outside. Go and ring up Bessner. Have him give her some dope or something to quiet her down, and then bring him in here. Right.
Simon, I'll kill myself.
Don't leave her.
Are you okay, Mom?
Oh, yes, fine. I'm just bleeding a bit, and I can't move my leg.
Quiet, Jackie.
We'll look after him. We must probably dress the wound. You will have to get for me boiling water so that I can sterilize my instruments. Fortunately, we will not have to extract the bullet.
Sounds most alarming. Like a major operation.
Not so. So much cannot be done here. I have not the means. I can but patch. You understand? It is to hospital you must go. But have no fear. For 2-3 weeks you lie still, and then you will walk as well as ever.
Fine bloody way to start your honeymoon. Thank goodness Kay wasn't awake for it. She needn't know about it till morning.
I did not hear this shot myself. Rather, there are so many shots on the shore, and the jackals and the drums. But it is noisy here in the desert.
Can I get Mr. his things from his cabin?
Yes, do. My pajamas and my washing things. And don't wake Madame.
I understand. I will be very quiet.
How's Jackie?
I gave her a sedative injection, a strong one. Already she has calmed down. In half an hour she will sleep.
Good. Wasn't really her fault, you know, the poor kid. She was sozzled.
We can make up some story or other. Pity that French girl heard the row, though. But I dare say we can manage to keep her mouth shut. But you can tell she already smelled the rat.
Yes. Now, listen, Smith, we've got to find that pistol before we forget about it. It's in that doorway over there.
I don't see any signs of it.
It must be there. Perhaps it rolled under something.
No, there's no pistol here.
I know it's there. I heard it drop. I saw it fall.
Well, it's not here now. Perhaps Christina picked it up.
I don't think she did. I'm almost certain she didn't. She was hanging on to Jackie.
Well, someone must have picked it up. Maybe Jackie herself.
No, Jackie didn't.
We must now get you to my cabin, Mr. Marston. Mr. Smith, you go outside. Your arm on the saw. Right, now lift. Mr. Marston, your arms over our shoulders. I will be with you.
Oh my gosh, Madame!
Quiet, don't make that noise.
But Madame C is dead there in her bed.
What? I am mad, Mr. Marston. I cannot possibly walk. You must understand.
Tell us.
Okay.
I went to Mr. cabin to get his things, and the door to Madame's cabin was open, so I moved very quietly as not to wake her. Then I smell something. It is the same smell as an ear. The smell there is when a gun has been fired.
Yes.
So I go into Madame's room. I go across to her. She lies there on her side. And then I think everything is all right. But I listen and there is no breathing. You understand? So I switch on the light and I see that she has been shot through the head. There is a little round ear.
Okay.
What has happened? Who screamed?
Mrs. Marston's been shot.
Shot?
Jackie killed Kay.
We must go and see. You will come.
At once.
Right.
What's this? Someone has been shot!
Mrs. Marston.
Dead?
The doctor's going to see you.
Oh, this is very bad business. It is a thing that has never happened before. I am at a loss to know correct procedure.
Are you in charge?
I am, but as I say, nothing like this has ever happened before. Mrs. Marston is a very important person. This does not make it easier. Tell me, is it known who shot the lady?
I'm afraid so.
I see. I was about to observe that nobody could have come on from the shore. There is always a guard stationed on the deck.
Then you're expecting trouble?
No, nothing. Possibly some petty pilfering, but it just means that nobody could have come on board unobserved.
Well,
Kay was shot through the right temple.
Oh, God.
That's very long ago. Perhaps 5 minutes, perhaps 20 minutes, not more. The pistol was held close against her skull, so it's clearly seen by the scorching of the skin.
I would like to put my dear little pistol close against her head and press the trigger so.
Who said that?
I think you can guess. Jacqueline de Severac said it to me the night we left Shalal.
All Kay wanted to do was get off the boat. And I urged her that we should press on with it. It's my fault, all of it. It's my fault. If only I'd listened.
Don't terror yourself about the past. You couldn't know what was going to happen.
I knew Jackie.
You're quite sure it was Jackie who shot her?
Yes. Who else could it have been? What do you mean? You're not suggesting... You don't mean suicide, Kay?
No, it was not suicide. Kay was shot with a small caliber pistol, and that pistol has been taken away.
And
It was, I should say, the same pistol that fired this. This is a bullet that threw Mr. Mostyn's leg past and lodged in the jack.
you were right. My eyes weren't working. Smith, Jackie must have either picked it up or I'm dreaming and she never dropped it.
You're quite sure it was Jacqueline who shot her?
You've already asked that, sir.
Well,
Who else could it have been?
I'm merely reminding you that you are condemning someone unheard. Jacqueline is not here to refute these accusations. Where is she?
Mr. Smith came to me while I was in my cabin and told me that the girl had shot Mr. Mostyn through the leg and was now in hysterics. I went with him to her cabin, where I found her with Miss Grant trying to calm her. I gave her a strong injection.
It would make her sleep.
Yes, but not at once. There would be an interval of, say, half an hour. She would become calm and then get drowsy.
So, I suppose as soon as she was alone, she ran out to the stern of the boat and shot Kay. Poor Jackie, wretched, poor little Jackie. Isn't that right, sir?
Has anything happened?
Has anything happened? Has anything happened? That's damn funny. That's good.
Quiet, Mr. Mostyn, quiet!
Sorry. Thanks, Preston.
All this has been very hard for you. Let me give you at least an injection.
No. No, do you think I want to sleep?
Well, what is it?
Mrs. Mostyn has been murdered, shot through the head.
Shot? In her cabin? Why, that is quite close to my cabin. I might have been murdered.
A mistake's been made.
Disgraceful. I call it disgraceful. Proper safeguards need to be taken. Natives should not be allowed to creep aboard in the middle of the night.
No one has come aboard, Miss Folliot, folks.
No one?
Nobody.
But then...
Yes, certainly. Since your cabin is so near to Mrs. Mostyn's, you heard the shot.
I did not hear anything.
I see.
Where is Christina? Christina? The least I should say that she could have done was to come and look after me. I might have had a serious heart attack from the shock. I might have been murdered. Where is Christina?
Isn't she in her cabin?
No.
Dr. Bessner, will you go to Miss de Severac's cabin and ask Miss de Severac to come here?
Certainly.
My niece might have been murdered and her body flung overboard.
I think there is quite possibly a less melodramatic excuse for her absence.
And there is no reason for her heartless conduct in not coming to look after me.
I'm quite positive that Christina does not even know that there's been a murder aboard. Where do you sleep?
Pardon?
Je vous demande, mademoiselle, où est votre cabine?
My cabin, monsieur? It is next to that of Madame Mostyn. Beyond, you comprehend?
Next door. And you did not hear a shot?
Oh, yes, monsieur. I heard the shot, but I wake and I do not know what it is that I hear. And I come around the deck and I see here, monsieur, so sous the leg. So naturally, I think it is that sort that I hear.
And you heard nothing outside your cabin?
But what should I hear, monsieur?
And you saw nothing?
What should I see?
I am asking you.
I heard footsteps running past my cabin. Light, quick footsteps.
But a moment ago you said you heard nothing.
I know, what?
Auntie,
You wicked, heartless girl, where have you been?
What's happening? What's happened now?
Aunt Helen, I'm sorry, but I couldn't leave Mr. Zodiac. She wasn't feeling well, and I didn't want to leave her alone.
And how long have you been with her?
Why, I've not left her at all. After you and I walked her to the cabin, I stayed with her, as you know, when you went to get Dr. Bessner. After he gave her the injection, well, she didn't want to be alone, so I stayed.
Is that true? My God, is that true?
Well, I'm not in the habit of lying, Mr. Mostyn. I'm not sure what you
Well,
mean.
no, don't be offended, Christina. It's just that this is frightfully important. Now, when Kay went to bed, Jackie was here in the saloon with us.
Yes,
And she didn't leave until she went with you.
yes, that's correct.
And since then, you've not left her, not even for a minute.
No, I have not.
Oh, thank God.
What's the matter? What are you talking about?
Kay has been shot.
Kay has been shot. You mean she's dead? Oh, I see. You thought I shot her.
No,
But I didn't. I didn't.
no, we know you didn't.
I can't seem to wrap my head around it. I'm terribly sleepy. Simon, I didn't kill Kay.
It's all right, Jackie. We know.
It's you I shot.
Yes, we know that as well. Listen, but Jackie, listen, keep awake a second. What did you do with the gun after you shot me?
I dropped it over there.
Take her back and get her into bed. She's nearly unconscious now. Now, Mr. Mostyn, I insist that you let me give you a hypodermic.
No, I won't have it, you understand?
You are in pain, and you have already some fever.
No, I won't have it. My wife's been murdered, don't you understand? Murdered on this very boat. Someone in this boat has done it. It's amazing, it's fantastic, it's unbelievable, but it's true. Someone who heard the row between Jackie and I earlier this evening, and now they're trying to pin the crime on Jackie, on poor wretched little Jackie. Isn't that right, sir?
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes. A new and terrible problem has arisen. But Simon, you are ill and you need proper care and attention.
I don't want care and attention. I want to find out who killed Kay.
It's a matter for the police now.
Right.
That's right, sir. It is. I have just sent a fast launch from here to Wadi Haifa. The police should be here in the morning. Until then, I was hoping that you would take charge, sir. I believe I'd be out of my depth.
I think that a very sensible solution.
Ah, very good then. I will just go ahead and interview the crew and the stewards to see if they saw or heard anything. I don't suppose any of you gentlemen know Arabic? Right. Well, leave that part of it to me then. See you later, gentlemen. Abdul Allah.
This is all very distressing, dear Canon.
Yes, as you say, very distressing.
Well, as it seems there is no longer any need for me, I think I will go back to my cabin and try to get some sleep. Please send Christina after me. I can't understand why she feels an obligation to look after someone who is, after all, just a mere acquaintance.
A moment, Miss Folliot-Post. Anything that anyone saw or heard this evening is of importance. Now, you said you heard footsteps outside your cabin. About what time was that?
I don't know.
Which direction were they going, fore or aft?
I don't have the least idea how they're... I don't know.
Thank you. Good night.
Ah, what a cloud there is. But it is cold at nights in the desert.
Well, surely you don't think that old woman shot Kay? Why would she? She has no reason.
I think it is well that each of us briefly state exactly what we did after Mrs. Marston left us and went to her cabin.
Well, I was in here. Bessner went to bed shortly after you did. Smith after that.
Dr. Bessner?
I went straight to my cabin. I was in my bunk when Mr. Smith came and told me that Mr. Marston had been shot and Mr. Selbrack was in hysterics.
And you did not leave your cabin?
No,
You did not go on the port side of deck?
certainly not.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Quite the examining magistrate, aren't you?
I have unfortunately not the powers of one.
Well, conceding you for the moment the right to question, I left the saloon about 5 minutes before Jackie's shooting stunt. She was working herself nicely up to it with dollops of brandy and a bit of crooning, and it got embarrassing. So I left through that door. I did not spring round the deck and kill Kay Marston for the simple reason that Jackie had tight hold of the pistol. I strolled along the deck listening to the howling of the wolves and the singing of the Bedouin, and I'm not really sure which made the worst racket. Then I heard a commotion in here, and I heard Christina give a nice, sensible, controlled English version of a scream, and I rushed in. After that, I have an alibi, as I was with Christina, Jackie, and Dr. Bessner.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
And I have no right to question, but may I ask Canon Pennyfather, where were you when you left the saloon?
In my cabin.
Like Dr. Bessner?
Yes.
But you didn't go to bed.
No, I was reading. Well, Simon, where exactly did Kate drop the gun after she shot you?
That doorway over there. Right about where you are now.
You were in a great deal of pain, weren't you, Simon?
Yes.
Now, were your eyes open, or did you shut them?
Felt a bit faint. So I believe I laid back and shut my eyes. It's idiotic, but the sight of blood makes me feel queer.
Wait. Now then, for the few moments when you were alone in here, someone could have crept to that doorway, picked up the pistol, and taken it without your seeing or hearing them.
Yes, quite easily.
It could have been someone who was in the hallway the whole time, heard the whole arguments leading up to that final outburst.
Monsieur?
Louise, come here, please. Have you been telling us the truth, my girl?
Oh, monsieur, how can you doubt?
I do doubt. What do you know about this crime?
Nothing, monsieur, nothing at all. You accuse me, a respectable gal, I
Poste
swear.
ton historie. Vérité.
Ah, monsieur, la bene vous douez, pardonnez-moi, ça pour vous, madame Marston. Toute le vent, toute le mai, une femme comme ça joue à Annabelle.
Allons, Place de Blanc. What did you see or hear this evening?
But what should I see? Naturally, if I had looked out in time, I should have seen this monster, this assassin, whoever he was. Then I should know who he is. What can I do? What can I say?
Louise, my good girl, calm down. No one's asking you to say or hear anything that you didn't. No one's accusing you of anything. It'll be all right. I'll take care of you.
Monsieur is too kind.
Just tell the canon what you did tonight. That's all he wants to know.
Madame had told me I could go to bed. She would not want me, as she might be sitting up late. So I went to my cabin about 10. I made my tea and chamomile as usual, but somehow it tasted bitter. Not good. The heat, perhaps. So I threw it away. Then I tried to go to bed again, but I did not sleep. It was too hot, and the little flies of the sands, they stung me. So I put some flits about, and again I tried to sleep.
And after that?
After that, nothing. There is much noise. Sicily Arabs, they do not seem to sleep. It is perhaps, without a doubt, one of them, des sex types that crept on board and killed Madame. They have the hot blood. They ate, perhaps, these fair Englishwomen who are so arrogant.
Did you hate your mistress?
I, monsieur, I was devoted to Madame.
I wonder.
Monsieur, you will protect me. The uncle of Madame, he is trying to say that I killed her.
Perhaps you did.
That is an outrage. C'est infâme.
Calm down, Louise, and go to bed. We'll talk to you in the morning.
Very well, monsieur. Good night, monsieur. Good night. Was it not a joke, what you say to me? Some jokes are funny. That one was not.
Some jokes are dangerous.
Yes, they are dangerous.
Ah, you see, this is short. We must, Mr. Smith and I, get you to my cabin now.
Hi, Boyd. He'll help you. I want to have a word with Ken and Penny, Father.
Well, Mr. Smith?
It wouldn't suit your books if he pegged out, would it?
I don't know what you mean, young man.
I mean, whereas Kay Mostyn always read every word of every document before she signed it, Simon Mostyn's a trusting fellow, and he'd be more than content to sign on the dotted line.
I don't understand you, Mr. Smith.
You think because I play the fool I can't be serious? I'm serious now. Murder doesn't amuse me.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
You know, I had you wrong. I thought you were just the usual canting society hypocrite. But you're something more. You're a fanatic. You believe in your New Jerusalem, and your New Jerusalem needs money. And you've had money flowing through your hands. Kay Mostyn's money.
This is really quite childish.
Remember, I saw you at the King David Hotel with that great wad of mail. I suggested you knew of Kay's marriage, and your surprise at seeing her here was all just an act.
You are a most intelligent young man. You're quite right.
So you admit that?
I admit that.
Well then.
Well then, Mr. Smith. How is your patient this morning, doctor?
I have done what can be done. But he should be got to a hospital. I hope the police will arrive soon. There's much inflammation and a rise of temperature. He asks questions and refuses any further sedatives.
Oh, that seems natural. The shock of his wife's death must be great.
What have you here?
Oh, these were fished out of the river by two of the boatmen this morning. They were thrown from the boat and stuck in the river mud.
This is a piece of a velvet scarf, a handkerchief, a bottle, and a pistol. Ha! Is it the right pistol?
This is the pistol that Jacqueline shot Simon Mostyn. J.S.
And it is also the pistol with which Mrs. Mostyn was shot.
You're sure of that?
Well, one cannot be sure. That is a police matter. It is for the expert in ballistics, I think you call it. Only they can say with certainty that a gun has been fired. Particularly, I see 2 shots have been fired.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
But maybe I should not be handling it.
Oh, there could be no fingerprints. It's covered in river mud.
What's this? You see the bullet holes? This was wrapped around the pistol. So. And the pistol fired through the material. That in order, I suppose, to deaden the noise of the report.
Why, it's Aunt Helen's scarf, the one that she couldn't find yesterday. Oh, she's been so ever upset with me, says I ought to have looked after it.
But it is not your fault. Most conscientious I have observed, you always are.
Doctor, Boston wants you. He's all head up. Once got up and brought out here.
That I have expressly forbidden. He is already fevered. These young men, they are so difficult when they are ill. I must be stern. Very stern.
I see that Medico's fallen for you, Christina. Take my advice and stay away from him. He's a dirty old man.
Dr. Besnard is a very clever man. He knows a lot. He's a psychologist.
I've never heard it called that before.
Well, I don't know what you mean, but he's very learned, and he's kind.
What a girl. She likes everyone. Christina Grant, you are the truly only nice woman I've ever come across. Will you marry me?
Oh, don't be so foolish.
That's no way to answer a genuine offer of marriage, made before a witness. I've deliberately offered you marriage against all my principles because I don't believe you'd settle for anything else. So marriage it must be. Come on, Christina, say yes.
Oh, you ought to be ashamed of your foolishness. The trouble with you is that you're not serious.
Not serious about my offer?
No, I mean your character. You laugh at things that you shouldn't laugh at. Besides, I don't think you'd make a very reliable husband.
Oh, I think you'd be more than reliable enough for the two of us.
Oh, that's enough.
So there you are, Christina, as usual when I want you.
Good morning, Miss Folliot-Oak. I believe this is the scarf you were looking for last night?
The one Christina so carelessly mislaid. But look at the state that it is in. It is disgraceful. It is all wet and covered with mud. What has someone been doing with it?
Someone has used it for murder.
My scarf? What impertinence!
Quite. When do you last remember seeing it?
I had it last night before dinner. Christina should not have left me leave behind.
Now then, this is not your handkerchief, is it, Miss Oakes?
Indeed not. It's a man's in a nasty cotton thing.
Indeed, a plain Woolworth's stained pink. Not a mark on it, not even a laundry mark.
Well, I shall take possession of my property now. Even though it is completely ruined, I shall sue the company.
No, these have to be shown first to the police.
The police?
A police launch will be here any moment now.
Oh, I see.
Ah, Miss Folliot-Oak, I've been hoping to get you alone.
Why, Mr. Smith, I can't imagine why.
Just this, I want to marry your niece.
Are you out of your senses, young man?
Not at all. I'm determined to marry her. I've asked her to marry me.
And I presume she has sent you about your business?
She refused me.
Naturally.
Not naturally at all. I intend to keep asking her until she says yes.
I can assure you, Mr. Smith, that I shall take steps to see that my niece is not put through any such persecution.
And what have you got against me?
That should be quite obvious to you, Mr.
Smith, one of the Hammersmiths.
Mr. Smith, that notion is quite out of the question.
Why? I'm not good enough for her?
That, again, should be quite obvious.
In what way am I not good enough for her? I've got 2 arms, 2 legs, good health, decent brains. Isn't that enough?
There is such a thing as social position.
Social position is bunk. Ah, Christina, I'm asking for your hand in the most conventional manner.
Christina, you have not encouraged this young man.
No. Well, I mean, well, not really.
What do you mean?
She hasn't encouraged me. I've done it all myself. She hasn't exactly pushed me in the face, but then she's too kind of heart for that. Christina, your aunt says I'm not good enough for you, and of course that's true, but not in the way she means. My moral nature certainly doesn't equal yours, but her point is that I am hopelessly socially below you.
That, I'm sure, is as obvious to Christina.
Is that why you won't marry me?
No, not at all. If I liked you, I'd marry you no matter what you were.
You don't like me?
Well, it's just that, you're outrageous. The things that you say and the way you say things. Oh, I've never met anyone quite like you before, and
Well, I'd say for a start, that went pretty well. I'll be calling you Auntie yet.
Canon Pennefather, could you please come and make this young man leave at once? If you don't leave at once, young man, I shall ring for the steward and get you put out.
I've paid for my ticket. You can't throw me out of the public saloon. But I'll humor you. Auntie.
Oh, dear Canon, I am so very upset. That dreadful, insolent young man.
I think rather just eccentric, perhaps. The whole family is. Always tilting at windmills. Now, that's why he doesn't wear his title.
Title?
Oh, yes. Oh, you didn't recognize him. That's young Lord Dawlish. Oh, yes, as I said, all the Hargrave Smythes are eccentric. He drops the hyphen and calls himself Plain Smith. Wouldn't doubt he belongs to the Communist Party. But rolling in money, of course.
Indeed? Indeed? Oh, that is very interesting, dear Canon. I am much obliged to you for this information. I think I had better have a word with Christina.
Get the chair, Smith.
Now, Simon, feeling better this morning?
Oh, I'm all right.
Madness, I tell you, madness! All this movement, all this excitement is most injurious to your wound, Mr. Boston. Let me give you at least an injection.
No, don't you understand that my wife has been murdered? No! My wife has been murdered. Don't you understand that the person that did it is still in this boat? Who the hell cares what happens to me? Not that anything will, I'm strong as a horse, but still, I've got to find out, I've got to stay on top of things. I've got to find...
You'll see? Here.
No, get that dope away from me! Drop of brandy's what I need, boy.
Oh, brandy will be very injurious to your wound.
Double brandy, boy.
You are impossible. I wash my hands.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't stand being treated like a patient and doctored and humored and shut away from everything. I've got to know what's happening. If Jackie didn't kill Kay, then who did? Are we any nearer?
I believe we are.
How's Jackie?
I think she's in her cabin.
Well, I must see her. I simply must see her. Smith, will you run around and tell her to come out? Yeah, that's a good shot.
These were fished out of the river this morning. A scarf. A handkerchief. Bottle of nail varnish. And this.
Jackie's pistol?
With 2 shots fired.
Then someone did creep around to the doorway and pick up the pistol. Shoot Kay and then try to pin it all on Jackie. Poor, harmless little Jackie who wouldn't hurt a fly.
Oh, my dear Simon.
Oh, that. Well, that's nothing, really. I practically asked for that.
Now, who do you think shot it? Okay, Louise?
Somehow I don't think it was Louise.
Well, she was acting most oddly the other night, to say the least.
Yes, you're right. She knows something. And I believe I've got the way to get out of her what she knows.
Oh dear! Simon, Simon, can you ever forgive me? I must have been mad, quite mad.
Not mad, just a bit tight, that's all.
I could have killed you.
With that little pea shooter? Hardly.
But your leg, perhaps you'll never walk again.
Oh, come, Jackie, let's not be maudlin. When we get to our salon, we'll ring the doctor, he'll rig up the x-ray, find out the damage, and he'll fix me right up. Don't get all head up about it. Seems like you've been worrying about something.
Worrying about something? Oh, Simon.
Now listen, try to keep your head a second. We think we can get to the truth of the matter through Louise.
Through Louise?
Yes. Both the canon and I think she was behaving rather peculiar last night. Isn't that right?
It gives every indication of that, yes.
So, there's a chance that when she stepped out of her cabin, she saw something. Something. Or someone.
But then, why doesn't she say so?
In my opinion, she's out for blackmail. Isn't that right?
Definitely.
Now, in my opinion, the way to get her to speak, there's only one way. Blackmail. Blackmail, big time.
Isn't that... I don't quite understand.
Now listen, if Louise knows who killed Kay, then someone's going to the scaffold. Therefore, that person will want to pay large sums of money to keep it from happening. You see?
Yes, a horrible creature.
Yes, I've always found her a dangerous piece of goods, but that's not the point. Anyway, this person, my plan is to outbid this person. We've got to get her in here, tackle her, and then offer her some so outrageous that she'll be forced to open her mouth as wide as we like. This is our chance. We've got to take it.
Isn't that... It has to be that way. I
It has to
don't
be
like
done
that.
quickly. It has to be done now.
No. I do not like the idea of bribing witnesses. I agree with Jacqueline. It is wrong.
But if we get results?
Oh, it is morally against the principle.
I tell you, only money will loosen that girl's tongue.
Oh, how do you know she will even tell the truth?
She will tell the truth if we make it worth her while.
Tell me, was Kay really shot with my pistol? Do you know that for certain?
It was the same caliber, but we won't know until the police have examined it.
Well, somebody else on board might have had a pistol.
Yes, Bessner has a revolver, but it's a .35.
Simon, I do not like this plan of yours.
That may be, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Well, I'll have no part of it.
Well, no, don't go. At least stay and listen to what's said.
No, I will not cooperate in any fashion.
Fine. Bessner, then. I'll need a witness in case she decides to go back on anything she might say. And send Louise in as well.
No, and here's Smith. He'll do for you. Smith!
What's the big idea?
Bribery and corruption.
Oh, that's it, is it?
Yes, the canon objected on principle, but I don't expect you'll do the same.
I have no principle.
Face yourself over there, then. Listen to everything that's said.
I become part of the background.
Was to see me?
Yes, Louise. Sit down, please. No, not there. Over here. Now, Louise, I've always thought you were a clever girl.
Thank you, monsieur.
That's why you need to help us out with this very sad business.
It is indeed sad. Madame was so young, so beautiful, so rich.
Yes, that's why we've got to find out who killed her.
Of course, monsieur.
So you'll help us.
Monsieur wishes my help to find out who killed Madame?
Yes, you are a very clever girl indeed, Louise.
You said so before, monsieur.
That's because it's true. Now listen, Louise. You're not rich, are you?
Oh, monsieur, what a question.
How would you like to become, sir?
Well, naturally, the answer is yes, but it is not likely.
No, I think it is quite likely.
I do not understand in the least what monsieur is trying to say.
I'm offering you money, Louise, for the truth.
For the truth?
Yes, I think you understand what I'm saying.
I do not understand, monsieur.
Quite the wide-eyed innocent, aren't you, my dear? Let's get down to brass tacks. Suppose that last night you'd come out of your room, aroused perhaps by a shot. Not the shot that did this, but the shot that killed my wife. You might have seen, well, what might you have seen, Louise?
But it is you who tell me.
But I am suggesting it is you who should tell me.
Tell what I saw? That is if I saw anything at all?
Yes, you saw perhaps a person.
I might have, but I did not say I do.
But I say that you do. Listen, Louise, I think you know the truth, and you're holding back, waiting for someone to pay you for it. Sell it to me, Louise.
I do not understand, monsieur.
Sell it to me. How much do you want? 1,000 pounds? 2,000?
My God.
Oh, God, this damnedest leg, is she badly hurt?
She's bleeding badly. Doctor Bessner.
God. Ah.
What is that?
Simon, I was afraid you'd been shot.
What has happened?
She was shot through that window.
But she is dying.
Will she speak?
Impossible. If you will help me, we will get her back to her cabin and see what can be done, but I do not think anything will be any good.
This is all very disturbing. Hand me my knitting, Christina.
Disturbing. 2 deaths disturbing?
Oh, Jackie, it's all right. Calm down. Don't let go.
It's also horrible.
But it's over now.
Simon, you're ill. You look very bad.
It's just a bit of too much excitement for one. Perhaps a bit of fever is all.
Your hands are burning. Are you in pain?
It's just my head spinning. I've got to hang on. What have I got to do?
You've got to find out who killed Kay.
Kay, yes, I've got to find out who killed Kay. Who's Kay? Oh, she's your best friend, Jack.
How is she?
Dead.
I should never have come on this cruise. I came for a rest and a change of air. Come, Christina.
Doctor, Simon, he's ill, very feverish.
Naturally, he is ill. It's very dangerous what he insists on doing. Now. Yes, now he has fever. Come, this has all been suicidal madness.
Suicidal? He's not going to die?
Of course not, young lady. I am vexed, that is all.
Well, can I come with him?
No, absolutely not. Boy, we must now get you into my cabin. He needs no more excitement. He is my patient, and I will now take care of him.
But please.
And you, now, my dear, he needs quiet. I will not permit any more madnesses from you. I shall give him an injection.
That man's always wanting to give an injection. I suggest he give one lethal to my aunt-to-be.
Mr. Smith, I think you will find that Miss Folliot Folks has had a change of heart.
And why is that?
She finds out that you wear your Smith with a hyphen.
Who told her that?
I did.
Damn cheek. Oh, Christina! Wait, Christina!
Simon's so ill. Is that you're holding?
A bullet,
Where did you find it?
embedded in the floor there.
Is it important?
It means that I now know how Kay was killed.
I don't understand.
This scarf was wrapped around a pistol, and the pistol fired through it, evident by the scorching in the bullet holes. It was suggested that this was done to muffle the sound of the shot that killed Kay, but Dr. Bester clearly stated that the wound in Kay's head showed scorching, which meant the pistol was held close against the head. So therefore, the shot that killed Kay cannot be the shot that was fired through this scarf.
I see.
There were two shots we know to be fired. The one that killed Kay and the one that you fired at Simon. And surely you did not get the scarf wrapped around when you shot Simon.
Of course not.
Yeah, so therefore, there was a third shot fired.
I see what you mean, but...
Now, when we examine the pistol, it is evident that 2 cartridges were discharged. But it is possible that a third shot was fired, a fresh cartridge inserted to make it look as though there were only 2 shots fired. If so, when was the third shot fired and what was the purpose?
I can't even begin to imagine.
When you came in the other night, was that window open or closed?
I don't remember.
When I left for bed, it was closed. When I came in later, it was open. Who opened it?
What on earth has that got to do with it?
Oh, a great deal. You see, once I showed myself by perfect logical deduction that a third shot had been fired. I looked for the third bullet and I found it.
I still don't see what you mean.
Now consider the French girl, Louise. The other night, in front of 4 people, Simon, Bessner, Smith, and myself, she went out of her way to make it perfectly clear that she knew something. She even unmistakably hinted that she saw the murderer. Why?
Blackmail.
Oh, blackmail, of course. But why at that moment? Why in front of 4 people? Why not go up to the one person involved? Go up to him or her and say, I know. What will you pay for my silence?
I can't be sure. That surely would have been the sensible way.
Yes, but why not adopt it? But the reason, the only possible reason was that was impossible. Now do you see how much nearer to the truth we are getting?
I suppose I'm stupid, but I don't.
Louise made her threat in front of 4 people. That meant the threat was actually only meant for 1.
Oh, I see.
Now, Louise could have come to me alone. She could have come to Bessner alone. She could have gone to Smith alone. But there's only one person she could not be sure of finding alone. A wounded man with someone in constant companionship. Simon Mostyn.
Simon! Simon, but you're mad!
Now, Simon Mostyn, that good-looking, plausible scoundrel and waster. Simon Mostyn, of whom I had heard something. And when I got Kay's letter in Jerusalem saying she had married, I hurried here to see if I could protect the child of my friend left in my guardianship. I failed to protect her, and that failure weighs heavily on me.
But what you're saying is impossible. Absolutely impossible. Simon never left the saloon here last night after Kay went to bed. He was here until I shot him, and after that he couldn't have walked a step. Dr. Bessner says so.
Oh yes, the series seems complete, but it's not. You see, you fired your shot. It went into the floor, not into Simon's knee. Simon fell back, took a handkerchief soaked in some red dye, clasped it against his knee. And while you, Christina, and Smith went to the other side of the deck, Simon Mostyn had time to come over here, grab at the pistol, run down the hallway to his wife's cabin, where she was sleeping, drugged, no doubt. Simon shot Kay. Then he came back here, opened that window, loaded a fresh cartridge in the gun, wrapped the gun in that scarf to avoid scorching, shot himself in the knee, then wrapped pistol, scarf, bottle, and handkerchief in a bundle, threw it out that window, came back here, fell back into the chair in the same position he had been when everyone left 4 minutes earlier.
It's fantastic.
Oh, fantastic, but it's true. But Simon had one piece of bad luck. Louise. Louise failed to drink her invariable chamomile tea. It no doubt was doctored. Louise was awake. Louise heard the shot, saw Simon running past her cabin, followed him down here and saw him shoot himself, no doubt, in the leg, then proceeded to blackmail. Simon reassured her in front of all of us and we missed it. You'll be all right, Louise. I'll take care of you. And in doing that, she signed her own death warrant.
Nonsense. Simon didn't shoot Louise.
No. Simon did not shoot Louise. For that, he needed the help, the quick wits and understanding of his assistant. You shot Louise Jacqueline.
It's a lie.
No, Simon told you here in this very saloon that Louise had seen something. He told you Bessner had a revolver. You went and stole that revolver and shot Louise.
It's a lie.
Have you ever heard of the moulage test?
Moulage test?
When someone has recently fired a pistol, tiny grains of powder are embedded in the skin. They can be removed with a moulage of wax.
Yes. I would have killed you. I didn't think it mattered so much killing Kay. Kay who tried to rob me of Simon. And Louise was just a blackmailing harpy. But you've been kind to me. I like you. I realize now why one must do no murder. It means you aren't safe anymore. Once you've learned to kill, you do it again and again and again. That's true, isn't it?
Yes, that is true.
I don't want to kill you. You've been kind to me. You've tried to help me. That first night, I nearly did what you asked. Nearly got off the boat, gave up the whole thing.
Oh, wish to God you had.
May I tell you how it all happened?
Yes, please, my child, tell me.
It's true what I told you. Simon was looking for a job. I induced Kay to give him one. When she saw him, she fell for him. Poor Simon. He's always wanted money. He's always been so miserably poor. And here it was, being offered to him for the taking. I saw what he felt. I told him he better give me up and marry Kay. But he said being married to a rich wife was no good to him. And he loved me. He said, if this were a book, I'd marry a rich wife and she'd die within the year. And then I saw the idea come into his mind. I taxed him with it. He just laughed and said, you leave it to me. But I was terrified. Simon's so simple, so terribly optimistic. I know he'd go about in some perfectly idiotic way, so I had to help him. You do see, I had to help him. This plan was all mine. I thought it so clever, so absolutely foolproof. Simon set it all up, my following them around, Simon's pretense of hating me. It was all worked out to the last detail. And then you trapped me. Never heard of the moulage test.
It was your own guilty conscience trapped you. In your instance, the moulage test would mean nothing because you fired that pistol last night. But it will be conclusive in Simon's case because according to his story, he never fired a gun.
You mean this is going to hang him? Simon.
When the sun is out, you cannot see the moon, but the moon is still there. I should have known at that moment. You and Simon said the same thing to me in almost the exact words. I should have known you were acting together.
I wish Kay was alive. You may not believe it, but it's true. I loved Kay, I know that now. She was so gay and happy, so generous and warm-hearted. If one could only go back.
You must go on, not back.
There's a way out. Quick way and an easy way.
No, you must not take that way.
You can't stop me.
Your life is not your own to dispose of. It is only yours to live until the appointed time.
You're cruel.
No, I'm still trying to help you. There are spiritual matters that you are not aware of. The next few weeks will be important to you.
To my soul?
to your soul.
Lotus ahoy! Egyptian police here!
Won't you give me back my pistol? Aren't you going to stop me?
No. The choice must be your own.
I see. The choice must be my own.